Quashen. I am your host. It's nice to be here on AM 1220 KHTS and 98.1 FM, your hometown station. And we've been doing I've been doing a lot of shows specifically on fentanyl, only because it's been a crisis that I can't get away from. For the past 10 years, I've been screaming, we have an opioid epidemic. Now I call it a pandemic, and if we don't do something, it's going to get really, really, really bad. And it's been really, really, really bad for the last couple of years. But this last year has just been off the hook. And we'll just go through it for a minute. Before the pandemic, we had what you call an epidemic, and every time you put on the television, you would see they were talking about opiates and opiate addiction and opiate overdoses and deaths and all kinds of crazy stuff. Big farm companies got sued. It was insane. Then the pandemic came and we stopped talking about anything but the pandemic. Every time you put on the television, all you heard was COVID, COVID, COVID. Every once in a while, the news or somebody would call me once a month or so, and I would go on and talk about the opiates and what's going on. But you didn't really see much of it. But let's get it straight. We had an epidemic. COVID came in the picture. Everything was focused on COVID. The epidemic of opiates and other drugs never went away. It got worse. People who drank more alcohol. I mean, if you went into Costco, you couldn't even find a bottle of alcohol. It was being bought off the shelves. People that were using anxiety or had anxiety had more anxiety, and doctors were having to write more anxiety prescriptions than ever before. People that were using hard drugs, you think that went away? No, it got worse. They used more drugs. So it went from bad to worse to terrible. And the other problem is, in the midst of all this craziness, they decided, wow, my God, we have an opioid epidemic. And it wasn't talked about, but it was the DEA got involved, the doctors got involved, and they said, we cannot give out any more opiates. We're causing people to become addicted. We're helping create addiction. So the doctors really kind of stopped writing. And it just like, boom, it went away. So you went from the worst epidemic of opioids I think I've ever seen, and I've been doing this for 40 years, to no drugs. So what now happens, you have the biggest need you ever had for the substances, and you have the demand is high and you got no supply. So what happened? You think the people just stopped using? No. What happened is fentanyl. It started coming in from China. People were making it and putting it in.
Hard to find.
Yeah, they were putting it in everything. Problem is, it was in everything and nobody knew about it. They didn't know what was in it. So all of a sudden, we have all these people that are starting to overdose, get super addicted. Bad. So I guess somehow the government got involved and stopped it from coming in. Pretty much they did a good job getting it away from China to here, but it went from China to Mexico. And what they're doing there is every drug coming across the border right now, if it's heroin, it's not heroin, it's fentanyl. If it's oxy pills, which are bootleg pressed pills, it's not oxy, it's fentanyl. In fact, the last 3 people that I brought into treatment that told me they were taking pills, and I asked them, where'd you get them? You can't get them from pharmacies or doctors anymore. They're not there. They're not writing them. We brought somebody to the pharmacy the other day, a doctor actually, that was in excruciating pain. They gave this poor girl 3 Percocet. 3 Percocet won't get her through 2 hours. So all of a sudden, what happens? They have to go to the streets and buy them. So now all of a sudden, these people that are coming into treatment, we're testing them. It's not even showing positive for Oxy or Vicodin or any of that. The only thing in these tests is fentanyl. In fact, I had somebody bring me in some pills a couple of weeks ago. I actually brought it on here and did it here. I tested the pills. They looked like the Oxy. You couldn't tell them apart. I crunched them up, put them in a tester, and boom, what shows? Fentanyl. The person that had been selling those pills actually overdosed, almost died. So the biggest problem I have right now is when somebody's addicted to fentanyl or to any drug, especially fentanyl, and they stop taking them, what happens? I brought Alyssa here to kind of explain that. And Alyssa, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell everybody
Hello, everybody.
where you are, what's going on.
I'm Alyssa, addict. So, what am I talking about?
Well, tell your story first. You remember when you were like 12 years old? I want you to think
you want
this
to talk
through.
way back?
No, I want you to remember this. You were 12, right? And you were walking down the street and you looked up into the sky and a bong fell into your hands and said, "Smoke me." You know what happened?
Basically, and I wanted to hang out with the crowd. I wanted to be a part of something. I wanted to have friends and hang out. I wanted to have a good time too and get away from like my destructive family life.
Yeah, you
Yeah, home. I have a big family of destruction and violence and drunken idiots, and so I wanted to escape some of that and do my own thing, which led to me doing a lot of things that I really, really, really kind of regret.
How many brothers and sisters you got?
How many brothers and sisters I got? Okay. On my dad's side, I got like 6 brothers and sisters. And then on my mom's side, I got like 7 brothers and sisters. And that's just a little bit of
the craziness.
And that's all different baby mamas and baby daddies. Yeah. I'm not trying to have a whole bunch of baby mamas and baby daddies. But that's just me. Anyways, back to the topic. Very young, I started drinking and using marijuana like everybody else. But I was popping some pills, and I was trying to escape things.
Like,
how I was feeling. Then my cousin went missing out in Quartz Hill.
Okay, go on.
That messed me up really bad. And
what do you mean went missing?
She disappeared, and we can't find her. We tried very long to find her. Yes.
How long has it been?
8 years or so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Go on.
So that really messed me up, and so I popped more pills, drank, and then didn't finish high school, so popped more pills, drank, got a crazy baby boyfriend, and then turned into a baby daddy.
How old were you?
And I was 19 when I had my son.
Okay.
And so then I went into a program for my first time for 6 months, and then came out, but I went back to my baby daddy, and that led me to relapse. So I was using, and I was on lots of things, lots of crazy things. I didn't want to be paranoid anymore, so I started using heroin.
Why were you paranoid?
I was paranoid because I was on meth.
One of the worst drugs in history.
Oh, yeah.
Makes you think you're seeing things and people are following you and planting stuff in your ears.
And I'm thinking people are talking crap about me all the time.
The phone's bugged. Right?
Yeah, and I'm thinking I'm getting followed by the cops all the time.
And the helicopter's after you and they're watching you from the TV. I get it. Go on.
I think every white car is a cop.
So you got so the meth scared you.
Yeah, so I wanted to calm down and went to opiates and heroin and
so let me just stop
stuff
you for
like
a second.
that.
When we're young, okay, follow me.
Yes.
We have what I call contracts. Meaning, when I grow up, I want to be
happy.
Happy. I want to be a doctor, a veterinarian, a cop, a lawyer, an astronaut, an actress, a model, right? And those change, but we also have what you call another set of contracts. When I grow up, I'll never. Remember those? I'll never be like my dad. I'll never be like my mom. I'll never use drugs. I'll never drink alcohol. Remember those?
Oh, yeah.
And then something happens somewhere down the line where we, like you said, we see a bunch of people over there, looks exciting and glamorous, and we hang out and somebody says, "Hey, dude, want to try this?" Usually it's some kind of weed or cigarette or a vape or something. And we go, "No," because it's a contract we made when we were young, but we hang out there every day, right? Mm-hmm. And it's just a matter of time where we get desensitized and somebody says, "Dude, take a hit, it's only pot."
It's only. And
we convince ourselves, yeah, it's only pot, and we take our first hit. Remember the first time you got high? Do you? Can you remember that or no?
A little bit.
So we say to ourselves, it's only pot, I'll never use hard drugs. And we mean it. Nobody wakes up in the morning and decides they're going to shoot heroin, right?
Yeah, or
So-
smoke it, whatever.
So you started young. You were
I'll
playing-
never do it again.
You started playing with pot and probably drinking, and then little meth came into the picture. What got you to even think about using heroin?
Because of the paranoia, I
Didn't
wanted
it,
to
didn't that
calm
scare
down.
you though? The word heroin.
Yeah, it did.
Explain.
It really did. I was told myself I'd never do that, but people hang out with the wrong people and they introduce you to things, say, here, hit this, so calm down. You'll be fine. Just 1 or 2 hits, just it'll calm you down.
Right. Especially
So,
now that you can smoke
boom.
it.
I did, and I was like, okay, ew, it tastes gross. But I calmed down, and I loved, pills in the beginning. So I was like, ew, at first. But then again, the person told me, here, it will calm you down. So, again, I calmed down. Then as time went by, like you said, it became hard to find.
Right.
Here comes fentanyl. Oh, that's a whole new ball game.
It changes everything, don't it?
Oh, you lose everything. You lose it all.
Explain. So the first time you used heroin, you smoked it, right?
Yep.
Did you ever shoot it?
Nope.
So you were smoking heroin, and
Just smoking a lot of it.
you get pretty much physically addicted to it pretty quickly.
Yep.
What happens when you try to stop?
You start shaking, sweating, throwing up, crawling to the bathroom, crawling to the blanket, trying to cover yourself up. Then all of a sudden you're hot again, so you throw the blanket off.
Mm-hmm.
And you're crawling to find your phone, call somebody. And then you're trying to get yourself up to get up and find a way to get more.
The first thing you think about in the morning when you wake up, isn't it?
And it's
Before
awful. You don't even think about going to eat.
Yeah. What about, did you have your kid already?
Yeah, I did.
Tell us about that.
Oh, so like you become sick and you avoid the things that you care about most, like, cherishing the moment with your children. And you tell them, I'll be back. I'm going to go to the store, and you leave them with the grandparents. And you take hours to come back because, you're out there trying to find a way in any means possible to get more. And, right back doesn't become right back.
Yeah.
And I come back home and there's my little boy just sitting there like a puppy. Oh, the cutest thing, a little puppy. But, so sad, all the guilt and shame kicks in. I'm like, I'm going to stop. I'm never do this again. I'm never going to do it again. Ever.
Yeah.
But the next day comes and I'm sick.
Yeah.
And I can't get up to go,
Yeah.
make breakfast. So what do? I got to use again.
Yeah, you got at that time you got no choice, do you?
It became not fun. It wasn't getting loaded anymore. I was just trying not to be sick. And it became the most miserable thing.
How old was your child?
It was around 4, and now he's 6.
Was he born sick or no?
No.
So you got sober for that.
Yeah, I was sober for his
Awesome.
pregnancy.
Awesome.
I was sober for his pregnancy. I was just on marijuana at the time.
Right.
And I stopped. And stopped the marijuana and the alcohol and stuff, but my body wasn't regular, so I got preeclampsia. And he came at 29 weeks, 7 months.
Wow.
But I was sober. So I was able to keep him and stuff because there was no drugs in my body.
Right.
But afterwards, I had to feed him every 3 hours. Feed him. Not saying that's okay.
Right.
But I had to get up. And so, someone introduced me to the meth. And then that rambled on to the whole everything else. Calm down. Hit this. And the heroin comes into it. And then heroin becomes hard to find. And then fentanyl. And then the fentanyl got me homeless. And I'm hitting the streets. My head to the concrete. Never even went camping before. I'd never been camping. But I'm on the streets now because of fentanyl. And I go, this is a funny story. So I go to a clothes bin. And,
What's a clothes bin?
a clothes donation bin.
Right.
And I don't
Like the little red boxes.
yeah,
you see,
the blue and white ones say closed donation.
Right.
And I don't want to lay like on the concrete anymore when I'm, at nighttime. I want to lay like at least on a sweater or something on my head. It got that bad, But when I go in there, the door shuts on me and I have this big scar to remind me. I got 22 stitches in my arm because the door shut on me and messed my arm up so badly. All
I could
because
see where it was,
all
yeah.
because I wanted a sweater to wear. And
you
not
said-
to wear, but to put on the floor so I don't have to be in the dirt and stuff.
So what do you mean you were sleeping on the streets? Explain that.
Like, I had no home to go to
Why?
because fentanyl got
But
me
you
kicked
could-
out,
you-
basically.
Okay, so they said enough.
Yeah, my mother-in-law said this is enough.
Right.
Your restraining order. You don't be coming here. You're not allowed here no more. And shit to me and my baby daddy.
Right.
So now I have to be on the streets.
Yeah.
And it was horrible. It was the most horrible thing ever. I don't want to ever experience it again. So I got this big scar to remind me about that. And
So you said you're sleeping in parks and
Oh,
roofs.
I climbed up to a store and slept in this like little abandoned room and on top of a store until people found us.
How long were you there?
About 2 weeks.
Okay.
On top of a Safeway.
So it went bad to really bad.
Oh yeah, really fast. And then I lost my iPhone, and then I lost my purse, and then I lost my ID, and then I went to sleeping in a tent. Yeah, it got so horrible.
You okay? You okay? Yeah. It hurts a little bit, don't it? What are you feeling?
It stings to remember it.
Yeah.
It kind of hurts, but you gotta let it out.
Yeah. And your baby now? How old is your child?
He's 6.
Tell me about him.
Oh, he's cute.
I saw a picture.
Oh, the picture today. He started school today. So proud of him. I want to just be better so I could be present. Right now I'm working on myself and getting myself together because this action program. And I wish I could have been there for his first day of school, but I wasn't. But I'm getting better.
Yes, you are.
And I'm so proud of him. He's so great.
If you could say anything to him right now, what would you say? Because he could watch this one
I
day.
know, you never know. I love you, little Joe. I'm so proud of you.
Just so everybody knows, we're going to go on break in a minute, but you're at Action, right? And how many days sober do you got?
I got 27 days sober from fentanyl.
That is from everything.
And everything.
That's very good, and you should be really proud because you had a really hard time the first few days. What people don't know about fentanyl, it's different than any other drug. You can't use detox meds for the first 48 hours, which means you got to get really sick before you can feel better. And I remember you were laying on the couch and you were like crying and you were in a lot of pain.
I wanted to leave.
I know you did.
I was trying to leave, but I stayed and stuck it out.
You surely did, and we'll talk about that right when we get back. My name's Cary Quashen. I'm the host. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Action Drug Rehab Hour. My name's Cary Quashen. I'm your host at AM 1220 and 98.1 FM, KHTS, your hometown station. And man, hey, Alyssa, you're awesome.
Thank you for having me.
And I brought you on here because you spoke with me the other day. And you just wowed everybody, because you got such determination right now, and you really can explain addiction and how horrible it was,
Yeah,
some people
I'm
want
good at that.
yeah, because some people you bring them on and they want to glorify it, but there's nothing. You're not glorifying nothing.
No.
It was really that bad, huh?
Yeah.
So let's go from there.
I never been camping, Cary.
And all of a sudden you're living on the
And all of a
streets.
sudden I'm having my head to the concrete. I'm trying to get a sweater so I don't have, to be directly on the concrete with my head. And boom, I'm getting hurt. I have to go to the doctors and get 4 stitches. Oh God.
So who were you with?
Sometimes, a lot of the time, I was by myself.
How were you by yourself?
Or with my baby daddy, but he would be leaving to go, do his thing or look.
I don't know. What was his
You
thing?
know.
Tell us what his thing was.
Oh, his thing was criminal activities, jacking anything in sight, going to stores and jacking anything.
So they steal in return, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
So
that whole get down.
Explain this. When you wake up in the morning and you got no dope, and you all know you're going to get sick, what goes through your head? Especially when you're with your baby daddy. What do you guys talk about?
What do we talk about?
Yeah, you know you got no dope, you got no money, and you're getting sick.
We gotta go to the store.
Go on.
We gotta go to the store. We need to go do something, or even like it came to the point where he was going to get cans to recycle. We became that bad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I was helping him. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
It's not all on him. I was helping him, get cans and stuff, and it was so not cool. It was not. I like, nice things. I don't like to get dirty like that, but I was.
Mm-hmm.
And I was bicycling everywhere to get to where I had to go because I couldn't get enough money for the bus even.
Right.
I'm bicycling everywhere. I used to make fun of people that rode bicycles. Here I am, riding a bicycle across town.
So you're waking up in the morning, you guys know that you got to get your dope. You figure out a plan. Either you're going to go get cans and bottles, you're going to go into Walmart or whatever it is and steal stuff and try to return it or jack somebody or whatever the deal is. But you must have really had a little bit of a struggle because you also have a kid at home.
Yeah.
And you got morals.
Exactly.
So that must have really been tough for you.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm getting all kinds of text messages. My daughter Courtney actually just said, "Wow, you are awesome." She wants you to know how cool you are and how much she respects you. And my wife Jessica's on the listening and saying the same thing, that she's real proud of you. Yeah, my hot wife.
Your hot wife.
And also about 4 or 5 other people that are texting me right now. So that is pretty awesome.
Gracious.
And that is really cool. So you're definitely people are listening to you. And you're hitting them. You're right where it hurts, and that's what's good. I want them to feel it for you.
I don't. I've got to feel this myself, or I'm not ever going to learn
how
to deal with this.
That's what I want to hear. Say that.
You got to learn to feel this.
No, you. Say it. I
have to learn to feel this and remember all that bad stuff, because that's what people do. They try to run from it, and they mask it and try to numb the pain away with doing these bad things. And really, that's not the thing you got to do. You got to remember it and let it out sometimes, so you remember not to ever want to go through that again.
You got to feel the pain.
You got to.
Teaching people how to stay sober is not what we do, because it's that simple. I can lock you in a room, throw away the key, let you get sick for a week, come back and you're sober. You now have to learn how to live and deal with all those feelings of whatever. The feelings of guilt and shame and anger and hurt and disappointments and all that wonderful stuff that makes you think you have an urge to get loaded. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because when we start feeling the pain, we want to run to what? What we know.
Something to mask it.
To numb it. Right. But the reality is the more you deal with it, the more the urges go away. But I am proud. You had it hard anyways. I mean, where's your dad, if you don't mind me talking about it?
Oh, him?
Yeah, him.
He's locked away. In prison. It's been like 5 years now.
Yeah.
He went on like a highway pursuit, helicopter, the whole big shebang.
He made the news.
He made the news, guys. This guy's hot boy, and he's like
drugs.
50-something years old, and he wants to be. He's still a hot boy.
So you come.
Grow up.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes it's time to grow up. I'm trying to do that now before I'm 50.
You're not trying. You're doing. There's a big
I love
difference.
my dad. I'm not hating on him. But
Yeah, but
happens.
Stuff happens. So you come from a family with a lot of addiction, don't you?
Oh yeah, and drunk, lots of alcohol.
Lots of alcohol and drugs.
It always starts with alcohol.
So somebody's got to break it, don't they?
Yeah.
What do you mean starts with alcohol?
Oh, because they'll be sober, and sometimes, they start getting drunk, and then they makes them want to do other things because they're feeling themselves.
Here's the thing about sobriety, just so you all know. And I talked about this today. You weren't in the group when I talked about it. People don't come to rehab to get sober. You know why they come to rehab? To stop doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
If it's fentanyl, they need to stop the fentanyl, and they say to themselves, my problem is fentanyl. I don't have a problem with beer, so I can drink it. My problem is beer. I don't
Exactly.
like weed, so I can smoke it. Here's a promise to everybody listening. I've been treating people now for
Exactly. That's what I'm
40
trying to say.
freaking years, and you can help me when I'm done talking. I want you to
Yeah.
jump in. If you stop drinking everything and stop using everything one day at a time, your life will get better. If you think you can fool this disease by drinking wine because you like heroin or smoking weed because you like cocaine, good luck. And you're going to have more of the misery, and I could promise you that. You want to go from there?
Oh, for sure. I've seen it happen so many times.
You've tried it.
And I've tried it, and it brings me right back to that
Yep.
same old thing. I'm thinking, oh, just, take a couple drinks, I'll be feeling myself. And then I'm feeling myself, and then boom, I'm thinking I can do a whole bunch of other things that I can't do.
It can be different
I
this time,
shouldn't
right?
do.
I can do it differently this time.
Yeah.
I won't use as much. I'll just use on
But
Fridays.
that's the insanity, Cary.
I
That's
know.
the insanity. I have to do things differently this time because when I'm doing it Alyssa's way,
Mhm.
it's the same way, and I'm expecting different results and never getting different results. Always ending back at square
Or worse.
zero.
Or worse. You know that we've had almost 120 some, almost over 100,000 deaths.
I'm one
in
of
the
those.
last year. I'm going to get to there too.
You know?
And those are people that just died accidentally from this freaking drug. We were talking the other day, and you had to do CPR and stuff on your baby daddy, huh?
Mm-hmm.
To
Multiple times.
Explain what that means.
That's so traumatic.
Tell us what that's like.
Oh, that's horrible, guys. It's like the most horrible thing to think you're about to lose someone you love the most. And seeing them purple and having to, look into them and breathe in their mouth and wait till the ambulance comes and get their breath to come back. And you're like, oh my God, But like it's traumatic. And then all of a sudden here comes my son after he's, the ambulance comes, takes his dad. And he comes running down the hallway and goes, is my dad dead? I don't want to go through that no more. I don't want to go through that no more. But he's alive now. He's alive.
And then that happened to you.
And then it happened to me on Easter. Easter.
Tell us about it.
And I couldn't even go look for Easter eggs and go hunting for the first time in my son's life. I couldn't go look for eggs that day.
What happened?
I was smoking too much fentanyl.
And what happened?
And I wasn't waking up. And so my baby daddy gave me a thing of Narcan up my nose. And I still wasn't waking up. He's smacking me. I'm still not waking up. So then he gives me another thing of Narcan. Still not waking up. So he calls the ambulance. But I wake up. And I get out the house before the ambulance comes. 'Cause, I don't want to lose my kid. So
and when somebody overdoses,
I grab my kid and leave the house.
Gotcha. Go on.
Because I was scared.
Yeah. So you overdosed. He had to Narcan you twice.
Yep.
You woke up. You don't know what happened really. You know something happened because
no.
you don't see the ugly.
I'm thinking I was sleeping.
So you grab your child and run for it because the ambulance is coming.
Yeah.
Do you know that you're pretty lucky?
Yeah.
And here's what I say to everybody now, and I have a feeling this is going to be you anyways. You have a kid.
Mm-hmm.
He's 5 years old?
6
6.
now.
I took a year away, didn't I?
He's 6 now.
And why'd you come into rehab this time?
Well, I wanted to be not only better than like I was yesterday, but I want to be a better mother and a better person and a better granddaughter.
Okay.
Because I want to make my grandma proud before she goes. She adopted me when I was 5 years old, and she's 87 or 8 or something.
If she's listening.
She's my great grandma.
If she's listening, what do you want to say to her?
I love you, Linda. I love you, Grandma.
Okay.
I love you, Grandpa.
Go on.
And thank you for everything.
You also.
I don't want to make you worry no more.
I bet you they're real proud of you right now. You also had another reason to come in.
Oh, and I'm pregnant, and I didn't know, guys. I didn't know, and I'm not the type to put drugs in my system. I want to be a good mother to what's in me and never have a child withdrawing from it. And so I was 3 months when I found out. Glad I found out, you know, before it got too bad.
And you came right in, didn't you?
I came the next day after I read the two positive lines.
I remember you called me and you said, "Hi, I'm Alyssa and I need to come to rehab."
Yeah.
And you were concerned because most rehabs don't want to take somebody pregnant, especially somebody pregnant.
I didn't know all that.
No, but fortunately our doctor knows how to detox well and protect your baby.
Yeah, he did a great job.
So we got you detoxed and in time that we don't have to keep you on anything.
Yeah.
And have to worry about detoxing your child when
Second
he's born.
trimester, if they find that in your system,
Yes,
you got to stay on methadone or something
that's right.
all the way till the end, and they will take your baby.
That's right. I've seen it happen
And
to more
I'm
women
not
than
trying
you
to
all
have
know.
that.
No, you know what? I am definitely giving you props. You found out. You made a phone call. You were in the next day. You spent 3 days of, I would call hell with your sickness.
Yeah.
And
the
you
reason
detoxed.
why is I hate being sick. I bet you everybody out there hates being sick, but you don't ever have to go through that again if you just do it for a few days.
People do it over and over again. Why would anybody want to go through that? But talk about
I've done it twice, so.
Yeah, but talk about that. That's what stops people from going to rehab.
It's
When
the
they're
sickness.
strung out, especially on fentanyl, and they
It's that
try to come
sickness.
off it, how sick do you really get? Try to put it in words so people can really get it.
Your body doesn't want to get up and move. Your legs feel like they're pounding, and you're throwing up, and maybe even gotta go to the bathroom.
So you're
you
throwing
know,
up
like
and the runs.
constantly. And
Your hair hurts. Your
My head hurts, and psychology, like in your mind, emotionally, you get depressed. You get suicidal thoughts, thinking maybe everyone's better off without me, but they're not.
See, I want to stop for 1 second because they're saying 100 and something thousand people died from accidental overdoses.
Yeah.
And then I say, add suicide to that list, and you'll double or triple that number. How many people coming off drugs that I knew that
Get
ended up taking
suicidal.
their lives and are ending up in a behavioral health, mental health unit because
Oh, yeah.
they couldn't handle it because the pain is
It
so
gets-
bad.
And the depression hits too.
Let's talk about that.
It hits.
What was it like?
You feel all that guilt and shame, and you get really emotional and cry babyish. You see a commercial of the dogs on TV, you know, and it pound, and you start crying. You see a little TikTok video and start crying. You know, those first few days are emotional.
Mm-hmm.
I cried a lot, like everything, but
Yeah, we looked at her. She cried.
I just wanted to hide under the blanket.
Yeah, it was pretty scary coming in, wasn't it? Knowing that you're going to have to wait. Because I talked to you about that on the phone. I said,
Oh
look,
yeah, and you gotta wait, because
I
if
said-
you take that Suboxone too soon, you're gonna go into a bigger withdrawal and
Yes.
throw up volatilely, like so bad. Oh, it's bad. You gotta wait that 24 hours.
And we got people that think they're smart, and they call us, and I tell them the same thing. If you need to withdraw, you need to not take anything for 24 to 48 hours, and they try to take it right before they come in and say they haven't, and then we give them medication, and they're really sick.
Yeah.
So you have to do
I
this
saw
thing
it
right.
happen.
The other thing for anybody that's listening, the scariest part of what I do now is people come in, get sober, and when they go out and leave, that's when most of the deaths are.
Yeah.
When somebody's been clean and sober for a while, and they go out and use, and their head wants more than their body can handle.
Oh yeah, they don't realize their tolerance has totally dropped.
And the fentanyl is so strong that,
Yeah.
you know what you were saying
Always
earlier.
a different batch.
Yeah, you were saying it's always a different batch. It's like
Always.
chocolate chip cookies, man. If you make two chocolate chip cookies and you put too much chocolate chips, they're delicious. If these jerks, idiots, low-life scumbags, I'm sorry, that are making these pills, put too much fentanyl in a batch, everyone taking that batch dies. And the DEA did make a statement that we're seeing now mass overdoses in the same house, meaning 3 or more.
Or they get more customers because they see people on the street see, oh, that must be, you know, in our crazy minds, we're thinking,
wow, that's good
that's
stuff.
the good stuff.
Uh-huh.
And it's not. But we're sick individuals when we're on that stuff, man.
You don't think about the overdose. You think about wanting to get the high.
Get better.
Yeah, but now your thinking's
You're not
changing.
getting loaded no more. You're getting sick.
So here's what I say to people. Here's what I'm going to say to you.
I
Here's what I'm going to say to you.
It was bad.
You were bad.
17 days sober, and I still had fentanyl in my system.
Mm-hmm.
Just let that sink in.
How many days clean do you have now?
I'm 27.
Yes.
Almost 30.
You know what? She's got 27 days clean and sober. Is that freaking cool?
Working on it, guys.
Huh?
Working on it at Action.
Wow.
Thank you, Cary. I
Look
love
at this.
you.
Somebody's texted me saying congratulations. I don't even know who this person is. That's pretty cool.
Thank you, Cary.
But here's
Saved
what
my life.
here's what I want to say. You saved your life. I just have a spot. Here's what I want to say to you. Okay? You can still be the person that you want your children to grow up to be. You understand what I just said?
Yes.
What did I say? You could
To
still be
the best example
be
to
the
set for them.
be the person you want your children to grow up to be.
Yeah.
Be the role model. No
Exactly.
drinking, no drugs,
No being a dirtbag.
no dirt bags in your life.
Or dirtbags in my life.
Surround yourself with people
Good
that are
people.
going places. Figure out what you want to do. We were talking about
You are who you hang out with.
or you
right
turn
there.
into it if you're not.
Yeah.
Well, but we were talking about me. You could even be a drug counselor.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, get yourself a year, and I'll hire you. I mean, there's so much stuff you can still
That would be
do.
awesome.
You know,
I'm tired of
you have
life I
somebody
was
else
living.
that was very. You have somebody. I keep getting text messages about you. You have somebody else that was very important and influential about bringing you into treatment. I think she's listening to that.
Hi, Christine. I love you. Shout out to Christine. She's a real MVP. She's my dad, right? But she's my cousin. But she's always been like a dad to me. She's always there for me no matter what. I love you, Chrissy.
We have a Karen calling. Used to be my daughter's teacher. Wow. Listening in. Thank you for these important reminders. Please give her a giant hug. Come here.
Oh, thank you. I
Nice
love
one,
hugs. I'm a hugger for sure.
So I was going to open it up for phone calls, but I really don't want to because we're on a roll and stuff. So you have 27 days clean and sober.
Yes.
How does that feel for real?
For real, how does
And
it
how
feel?
hard was it? And how hard is it?
The first week is probably the hardest, guys.
Without cussing.
It's the hardest, guys, first week. But after that, it gets a little bit better. And then a little bit more better. And then you kind of start getting a little bit of your groove back. And you realize that some things are joyful. And you notice the birds in the trees. And wow, there's birds in the trees.
Food tastes better.
And the
Things
food,
smell better.
I start eating.
Stars look better.
I'm eating, guys. I started eating again.
we do spoil you over at
Yeah,
Action.
they do. They feed me real good. And they got a big old snack closet, and I'm just all up in it. I have to have someone help me get up from the floor because I'm just eating in the snack closet.
I was trying to figure out if you're pregnant or if it's just a lot of burritos and snacks, you know? I don't know. So, are you happy?
I am really happy right now. Happiest I've been in a really long time.
Okay.
You know, I really am. I'm so thankful for everything.
What scares you?
What scares me?
For real.
For real. Having an unhealthy pregnancy, something going wrong with my pregnancy.
And today,
High
right?
blood pressure. Today, what scares me?
So right after this show, you're being
I
picked up
get
by
to go to the
Danielle,
doctors finally for my first ultrasound.
and
guys.
we're getting you an ultrasound.
And Cary's great team has taken me.
Mm-hmm.
They're so helpful. The groups, oh my God, the groups have helped me so much. The counselors in Action are awesome. They're so relatable, or sometimes they're not, but they say things like in the most friendliest way and like motivational way ever. Like I don't know, I want to say his name, but if it's okay to say his name.
You can say his name.
Brian, he told me one time, a counselor, it's just a fart in the wind. What you do now is just a fart in the wind, like this 30 days or 90 days or whatever you put into your program, It's just a fart in the wind compared to your whole life you have ahead of you. And I just love the little, motivational little quotes they say.
Right.
They're funny. They're great. They're great.
Sobriety can't, it's got to be as serious as a heart attack, but it's
Yeah.
also got to have some entertainment and fun.
Yeah, and relatableness. And
of course.
someone that's not boring, just Bible talking it up, you know?
So you've been through, I would say, probably about the worst you can go through.
Yeah.
You've been fentanyl, you've been Narcan at least once.
And
You lost
a holiday.
I'm sure some of your on Easter, right? Your kids saw it. I'm sure you lost some of your friends to this disease.
Oh, I've lost a few people. I lost my baby's grandpa to fentanyl.
Really? Okay.
He died like a couple years ago. My baby dad's dad.
Right.
I've lost a couple friends to it, like 4 or 5 friends.
That died.
And that's the last year, like 3 or 4 friends or 5 in the last year. And it's so scary and sad because each batch is different. So they're thinking they can take 5 hits, and no, they take 2 and they're gone.
Just like that.
Forever.
Yeah, they're dead.
Forever.
They're not coming back. Here's what I want to say.
They're cutting everything.
They're cutting. It's in meth. It's in cocaine. It's even in pot. Some of it.
And sometimes marijuana. Yeah.
If
scary.
you're gonna take drugs, guys, and you're listening to this, if it's not coming directly out of a pharmacy into your hands, it's fentanyl. Period.
And no, they don't care about you. They just want money.
I want them to hear that from you, not me. I mean,
It's the truth. They're not your friend. They just want money.
so you've been through probably the worst of the worst. You're pregnant. You have a kid. You got so much going on emotionally, physically. What do you say to somebody out there listening to you right now that is still using, that is so scared about stopping because they don't want to go through the pain and they don't think they can do it? What would you say to them?
If you go through this sickness now, you'll never have to go through it ever again. And don't be scared to reach out for help. I know I was scared. I was embarrassed,
Yeah.
But don't be scared to reach out for help. Ask someone for help. And when you go through that sickness, it does suck. I'm not going to lie to you. It does suck. But if you go through it for that little amount of time, you'll never have to go through it again.
Say that again.
If you go through it now, you'll never have to go through it again.
Now say it with an I.
I went through it.
And I will
never go through it again. And I'm so glad. I feel better today. I don't wake up sick. And I wake up knowing I'm going to live and I'm not going to die. I don't have to smoke anything to make me feel better. I just feel better on my own.
Pretty cool.
Right?
Yeah, you look like you're confident right now.
I am.
You're going to do this, aren't you? No, you're going to do this.
I'm happy in life. Finally, happy.
Yeah.
I am, and I'm just so thankful for you, Cary, in this program.
Your family's pretty proud of you, aren't they?
Some of them. I think some of them might be.
I know they are. I know your cousin is.
Yeah.
Bet your grandma is.
Great. She's great too.
Did your mom bring you in?
My cousin Christine brought me in.
But your mom had something to do with it, you told me.
Oh yeah. So I was homeless. My mom went out there, and she had a daughter that died in a car accident.
Just recently, right?
Like a year or 2 ago.
Like just one of your sisters.
Yep, and my sisters. And so she came and she said, "Get in the car. I can't have another daughter die." And she brought me all the way out to SoCal because I was in Northern California. And I came to Southern California to get better. But I was still using out here. And then I took that test and it said positive. And I was like, oh no, I cannot do that to a poor little baby.
You know how many people I've dealt with in my 40 years that said the same thing you said but didn't come in?
What, being pregnant?
And had babies addicted and
'Cause
lost
it's so-
baby.
it is.
But you did
Not
it.
only when you're sick, this little thing was sick too, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so wrong. It's so wrong. It is so wrong. But I'm better now, and it's possible
And you're
to get better.
And you are going to be that person that you want your child to grow up and be.
Exactly.
Say that.
I'm going to be
Yeah.
the person I want my children to grow up to be, or help they become better.
Yeah. I can tell you that we're all real proud of you. We talk about all the clients every day. We kind of do like our own little team treatment stuff. And everybody at Action is proud of you. because we know how tough it is. I mean, for all of you guys there, but especially when you're carrying a child and you got to deal with all that, and you have a baby that's not living with you right now.
Yeah.
So you're dealing.
He's with family though. I just want to say that, but it still hurts, But I want to get myself right before I can, raise him.
And you're doing a really good job of that right now. You just got to stay on track, and the hell with alcohol and drugs, not you.
Yep.
And stay mad at the culprit. The culprit is the alcohol.
You gotta
and the drugs.
remember what you went through, so you never want to do it again, guys.
Yeah, if you try to glorify it and try to remember the good, it's like any relationship. If you're in a horrible relationship and you think about the good, it's hard to leave. If you're trying to leave drugs and you try,
or you keep justifying the bad with the little good things that happen, but does the good outweigh or does the bad outweigh?
And really, how long does the high last? What is it? A few minutes?
Oh, an hour.
And that's it of the whole day, and then you got to find more.
Yeah,
got to come down, and it's
not worth it. I'm telling you that right now.
There's nothing good about it at the end of the day.
Nothing enjoyable at all, because
I would normally say this with a harder word, but since we're on the radio, I'm not. I'm going to say screw alcohol and drugs and everything it does to you and everyone around you.
Me too.
That everyone that loves you and you love.
Forget it. Forget all that.
Yeah.
Try to.
You're all worth so much more. I'm so freaking proud.
Well, I also say
of you.
remember the bad stuff, but don't remember the drugs.
And I am really proud. So you got 2 minutes. 2 minutes. It's your show. What do you want to say?
I don't know what else to say, really.
You said a lot, didn't you?
I have said a lot.
What haven't you said?
What haven't I said? I don't know.
How about my name's Alyssa and I'm worth it?
My name's Alyssa and I'm worth it.
And I'm going to make this thing work.
And I'm working it. No,
and I'm going to come back on this show every month and tell everybody how I'm doing.
I will definitely come back on this show and tell everyone how I'm doing.
And my commitment to you.
Thank you for listening. This is my commitment to you, Cary.
Okay, good. And my commitment to you is we're going to do.
Thank you for having me.
You got it. We're going to do anything and everything we can to make sure that you make it.
And I hope this reaches somebody out there.
And the only one that can mess this up is you. Remember that. It's one bad choice. If you don't drink and you don't use anything one day at a time in your life, I promise you better. If you decide you can drink and use, I promise you the same crap you've been through. You're worth more than that. And on that note, I want to thank our listeners. My phone is being blown up right now. Everybody is talking about you and saying good stuff. Until next week, this is the Action Drug Hour. I'm Cary Quashen, along with my guest today, Alyssa, on your hometown station, AM 1220.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Bye-bye.